too.
Yeah, we don't need any Roku today.
We don't need Roku City. Wokeness has
Yeah,
come
I'm
to
woke.
Roku City.
Yeah.
I'm woke. I'm
Roku
broke.
City, starring Sheet Metal, my cat.
Come here, Sheets. Come here.
No, there's
Sniffing
I
that
don't
thing.
think he's interested. He's sniffing Max's shoes.
All right. Well, we won't make Sheets perform under the pressure of an audience.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what's weird?
What? What's
Feels
up?
like old times.
How so? How so? It
I don't
feels
know.
like
it
it's been
just- Yeah, we've had a reset. We haven't seen each other in a while.
yeah, like a summer,
Yeah.
like two months,
Yeah.
due to various several disasters simultaneously.
Yeah. Aww. Aww. Okay. But yeah, anyway, how have you been?
Eh.
Okay. How have you been?
I have a cat now. He
Come here.
was he got trapped in a coworker's engine block,
Yeah.
and we rescued him, and now he's my cat.
And what's the cat's name?
Sheet Metal, as stated before. He's my
Sheets.
boy.
Good old
Sheets.
sheet metal.
He's a little guy.
How old is he, you think?
I think he's about 8 weeks now.
Okay.
Close to that, yeah.
Okay. How long have you worked here?
At least a couple of years.
Okay.
It's pretty
Okay.
decent.
And how long have you worked here?
Month.
Okay, good, good. Okay.
Good.
How long has this building been here?
Yeah, it's a great question.
to
I have no
interpretation.
idea. Yeah, exactly.
okay,
It
good,
might be
good.
metaphorical. I don't actually
Good,
know.
because when my team picked the spot, they were just when they scouted it, I thought it would be a good spot for us to come to. Good.
Exactly.
I am referencing something. Do you know what I'm referencing?
No clue.
JD Vance
Oh.
when he's in the donut shop.
How do you not? How does a guy who is planning on taking the national stage not have media training? Like, explain that to me. Like, I'm like genuinely curious.
I
How
don't know.
has he never actually been in a restaurant that he's never been to before?
No,
Like,
he went to Yale.
generally speaking, in my mind, right? If you're going to a place and you don't want to clog up the line, you don't want to like get in anyone's way.
Usually reserve like a spot.
Not just reserving a spot. I'm saying like you walk into like a donut shop or something like that, and you're like, well, I don't really know what's good. You go up and you're like,
What do you recommend?
yeah, what do you recommend? What's your favorite?
He,
What do you like?
He literally
He's
said,
like, oh man, there's so many options. What do you think the best one is for a new donut connoisseur?
He walks in. Have you watched the video at all?
I've
You just
watched-
don't remember it.
I-
I could never forget it after watching it one time. I
Go
was
for it,
like,
man.
he goes like, he walks in and he goes, the girl's like, oh, I don't want to be on camera. And he goes, oh, I'm like running for vice president. And she goes, okay. I've never.
Okay.
Why would you post it? Why would you post it? That's the
Why
worst.
why would you actually do that? Like
Yeah.
why literally why didn't they just like actually ask?
like-
Normally that is like the other half of media training is getting people
I mean, you just
Like
talk
permission
to
to
the, like,
shoot
yeah, just
and-
like permission to shoot there, and also like you get like the handful of like dudes who would be at least like semi okay with talking to you, but they're like,
No.
no, I don't know who this guy is. This guy's a freak.
But that's like the typical like, and just to jump into it, like I guess that's the typical like Trump thing too, is do it and then don't ask for permission and then get in trouble and then never have the ability to go to that venue ever again. Because that's like part of what's going on is like he can't do outside venues or he can't do inside venues because he already stubbed them all on money. Like he didn't pay them their
Yeah,
money.
yeah.
So now
It's the reason that like when they were doing the big like stop the steal press conference right after they declared Joe Biden the winner, they went to that f***ing lawn care place to do like a thing with
Yeah.
Rudy Giuliani and all those other weird freaks. It's just
Yeah.
like you don't have any other place to go because like you've f***ed over everything
Yeah, you
and
already
nobody
scammed
wants to
people.
actually talk to you.
Yeah. Well, today, and we, you know, anybody, you could hear that. We can hear this commentary anywhere. But you know what we won't hear on the news, most likely?
What?
slurs.
No, I hear that all
Okay.
the time.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
say
I
that
hear
a lot
all the
actually.
time.
Yeah.
But that is so cute. How are we supposed to podcast with a kitten in front of us? He's picking up a whole fish toy that's bigger than him with his mouth
He's so
and walking
great.
around with it.
I guess you won't see kittens like that on the news all that often, which is
Yeah.
a real shame. But you know what you're definitely not going to see if things go bad. Brazilians on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that's
Because
Champy.
one of the funnier news bits, again, at he's gonna run away from you. He doesn't want to get picked up right now. You're just like you're trying to like linebacker little sheet metal. He's just like, no, I don't want to be on camera. Sheet metal is much like that donut lady. He doesn't want to be featured on the news.
No, I'm a podcaster. Okay.
So the problem with Elon Musk's currently seems to be having is Brazil has anti-disinformation laws because of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic that hit there really
Yeah.
hard. And they had a bunch of people on their like local news or in social media and Bolsonaro's camp spreading vaccine disinformation at the time where
Yeah.
Brazil was getting hit really hard with coronavirus.
Right.
So they put through these laws. It's like, hey, you can't do these things. You can't host this stuff. You can't go on the news and say this kind of shit in a way that will affect negatively public health.
Yeah.
So this really hadn't been a problem for a long fucking time. There's also a bunch of hate crime laws that were already existing as well in Brazil law, similarly, and social media sites that wasn't a problem with Twitter and a lot of other places. Because again, they all kind of know you play the game, right? If
Yeah.
you want to keep advertisers, you got to ban lowly 1488 and
What?
keep him out of the
You
comment
can't
section.
ban me.
Keep him out of the comment section of a Domino's commercial.
I am being held down. The woke mob is trying to cancel me.
The woke mob is trying to keep me from spamming slurs underneath the Wendy's commercial.
Okay, but that's the best place you can spam.
True. But what I'm saying is, like, you play the game, right? If you are trying to deal with, like, a guy who's, like, you know, openly saying slurs or openly calling for hate crimes in a place, you got to ban that guy. Like, you know.
Why does your mic look like that? What's going on with that?
Oh.
What's going? I like.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
crooked, you know. It was having a
It was
bad
freaking
morning.
me out. But
Sorry.
yeah. But you gotta ban people who.
Yeah, they're just bad actors, right?
Yeah.
And like back before Elon Musk bought the platform, it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
And I think he really did in the 2 years or so that he's owned the platform. He's skated by and with this never really coming up.
I think
in
it was
Brazil.
a problem, but at least they like banned them.
Yeah. There's.
They banned them.
active-
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is they
Yeah.
banned them. You play the game, right? After January 6th, you ban all the QAnon people so that the federal government doesn't jump down your ass.
Oh, I gotta check on the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, why?
Because they're in the plastic.
Oh, they do like to. They've been playing inside of a plastic bottle case and been getting stuck occasionally. He's been very silly about that.
I'm gonna get you.
So anyway, in regards to Brazil, though, I think they've skated by and not needing to address this for like a year or so because nothing really has come up until the Brazilian elections happened
Mhm.
because Bolsonaro lost to Lula. And obviously there's always going to be this like, stop the steal bullshit because that was what Donald Trump did. And they tried to do that playbook. And much like the Donald Trump playbook, they tried to storm the Brazilian parliament, except it was a federal holiday that day and nobody was there. So they just kind of wandered around an empty
That's
building
fire.
for like 7 hours before police were like, hey, look, you're not really doing anything to hurt anybody, but you got to leave. This is federal property. And like a bunch of people were like, never, I shall never leave. And then a bunch of people were like, okay, but I guess I'll leave. This is sheet metal. He doesn't like being held when he's in play mode. He wants to escape from Chase so bad.
Sheet metal.
His sheet
run.
metal. Bye sheets.
Okay, that was good enough.
That was good enough.
I just wanted the video documentation.
Yeah, that he exists.
Yeah.
Wow,
So-
we're crazy.
But weren't those people? Sorry, this
Mm-hmm.
isn't even an aside. But who is it? Roger Stone? Wasn't he a part of like the same thing in Brazil?
Kind of, yeah. Like he,
wasn't he
a lot of
listed
the
as something?
English-speaking commentators were like, did the same stop the steal shit for Brazil, but that's not like really what Brazil is talking about per se. Like, the law kind of specifies specifically. It's like it's supposed to affect actors in Brazil itself, right? Like,
right.
you have a Brazilian guy going on the news saying, you know, the vaccines are filled with Satan or whatever. You can't take them. It'll kill your mom. you
That's
gotta
fire.
like, okay, that guy can't be allowed to have a
Satan
platform. We got to
come.
get rid of it. This is a
What,
public
hey,
health
what are you
concern.
doing?
I was listening to Satan come.
No, what are you doing on your phone?
What are you doing on your phone?
I was looking up Roger Stone.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to know who that guy is.
I just
'cause,
had to
look,
make sure.
you don't really think about Roger
Well-
Stone outside of the fact that he's a cuck.
Well,
Whoa.
yeah. So
He's
like
an actual cuck. Yeah.
That's crazy.
that he in the corner.
yeah, chair and everything.
He has a bull and everything.
Yeah,
A young strapping man.
yeah. You can
That-
find Craigslist. The joke in 2016 is somebody found a Craigslist advertisement of Roger Stone trying to find a dude to f his wife.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it's fucking.
That's
it
so
was great.
panda coded. But outside of that too, like I kept thinking of Rob Stone. You know that
Mhm.
song, the Kill Bill song? Rob Stone, two damn phones. You don't know that?
No,
it's
I
like a
guess not.
2016
I should know,
song.
but
I haven't
They
heard
use the
it.
Kill Bill whistle or whatever it's called.
mhm. Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was.
But his name is
I
Rob
only know the
Stone.
whistle.
So I just
only know
kept
the
thinking
whistle.
of Rob Stone, and I'm like, that's not who that is.
Yeah.
He is
yeah.
not in the corner in a cuck chair as far as I'm concerned.
But anyway, so the
far as I
Brazilian
know.
Supreme Court has basically like it's not really an injunction so much as it is a request for they're like basically like, hey, you need to show up with a representative from Twitter or you're going to get Twitter/X banned as a platform in Brazil because they
Right.
can do that.
Right.
So the issue that Elon Musk seems to run into is that he fired every single Brazilian employee like a year ago.
Oh,
like a
hell
year ago,
yeah.
he fired the entire Brazil sector of Twitter. Like all of them are gone.
Did he have a reason for that, or just?
I don't think so. I don't
Yeah.
think they ever had a reason. I think he just did it because he doesn't like Lula da Silva because Lula thinks he's an idiot, and he is.
Yeah.
So he fired all those guys. So the Brazilian court basically didn't have anybody to like send these papers to. So they're like directly like, you, Elon Musk, need to show up in Brazil in the next 48 hours or Twitter's getting banned in Brazil, right? Like,
Right.
we don't have a representative that we can hand these papers to because you're running a business outside of Brazil through
Yeah.
Brazil, but you have no Brazilian representative. So you're the one who has to come down here.
So it's your fault.
Yeah,
You-
it's your
you
fault.
Are the
Like
only
well, they
one.
don't have a person they can
Yeah.
serve papers to except for him. His
couldn't you
his
just-
name's on the site, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand
I
serving
feel like couldn't they
papers, so-
just communicate with like
Couldn't
the
he just-
United States government?
What?
Like,
No,
No, you don't need
it's,
to.
It's
It's-
a private.
It's a
matter.
private matter. Yeah, it's just like a private company.
So my question is, why didn't he just hire an attorney to be the person who
That doesn't make-
handles this, and then hire a representative after?
You could probably have done that,
Yeah.
but like that requires him to actually take this seriously, which he seems to like have not done this.
well,
Like I don't actually
thought-
know off the top of my head how long this case has been going on, but it seems like it's been a pretty long-standing case of like you need to ban these people. You need
Yeah.
to show us what you're going to do moving forward to prevent this. And then also there's a lot of hate crime shit that we're pretty sure is linked to your site. You need to give us transparency into
Yeah.
what the fuck that stuff is.
You need to
well,
tell us
I
about it.
thought there was like something for that though. Is there not something to where
There's
a
no
private,
international.
like even if so like a private entity was operating from the United States inside of like an outside area, it's not the United States' fault for the
It-
private entity invading.
No, no,
That-
no.
I feel like that would be completely different if China
It
did that.
depends. No, it depends if it. Well, the reception that they would get would be different, but it depends on if it is funded through the government or not. And Twitter is not funded through the government. Twitter is an entirely privatized. I don't think it's ever been subsidized once.
There's like exceptions, but that has to be linked to like major crimes. Like
Yeah,
currently they're not accusing Elon Musk of like personally using Twitter to spread these things. It's more just like this is a relatively like slap on the wrist kind of coded thing where it's like, yeah, sure, we're banning all of your business in Brazil. That's a really big deal, but it's like well, currently we have no like they don't have a way to prove that you, Elon Musk, are in charge of all of these dudes using Twitter to do a Brazilian January 6th or whatever, right? Like
yeah.
Well, I thought
Yeah,
that was
there's-
that's also a thing though. I thought via our laws for website hosting is that if you host like hate groups and like other things that are like that nature, you get punished by our government for allowing it to happen because you own
no.
the site.
No.
It
I swear
depends.
that's the thing.
There
'Cause
are
that
things
like because
They-
4chan and even Stormfront, all those other places
Mhm.
have to use websites outside of the United States hosting in order to
it's
do
a
it.
bit more complicated. It's
Right.
more just like it's so
It-
currently Telegram
Mhm.
is getting into hot water in I
Oh yeah.
believe Germany, where they have like a warrant out for the CEO of Telegram's arrest because they have credible proof that Telegram is being used to run child rings.
Right.
And currently the German government are basically like, you need to
Edit
tell
that.
us. Say what?
I said edit that in post.
Yeah.
So-
I'll get rid of. Yeah, PDF files.
What have you? Yeah.
Adobe Acrobats.
Yeah, like what I'm
Yeah.
saying is it's like you have these crimes that are happening right out in front of everybody. We have proof that they exist, but you're not giving us a plan on what you plan to do to get rid of all of this. Like
Yeah.
this is a serious international crime.
And you don't have any actionable plan.
No, like you're not only do you know about it, we have credible proof that you know about it, but you're not doing anything about it. Why
Yeah.
is that?
I
There are exceptions to it, but it's like, again, I feel like Brazil is kind of taking this. This is a very light-handed approach to. I believe Maxie is kind of right that there are laws about these sorts of things, but it's like they probably don't have any real credible proof that like this is a thing that they haven't done anything about. It's just like the bare minimum is ban these people, like ban
yeah.
these like hate crime groups, ban these guys from Twitter, you know,
mean,
whatever.
I mean, even then, you can't really do anything as a country directly to like a private user base of a website.
Mhm.
So like you can just ban Twitter like they're planning on doing.
Yeah,
which is
like
just,
you can
getting
say
rid of
like
it.
you need to
But-
follow our EU
but, like-
laws, we're banning you.
But I don't think unless you can prove there's like actionable threat that has been like committed. Like let's say like
It's a conspiracy
Yeah.
that you're part and parcel to.
yeah, like like even peddling like false information about vaccines.
Yeah.
Like that would be per person basis. It wouldn't be
Mhm.
like, oh, we now sue Twitter. If they knew about it and promoted it, then they could be liable, I
Yeah,
believe.
and the complicated part about running a lot of these international, social media groups is that like, yeah, every place has different laws. And again, for Twitter, that worked for a really long time because like, in Germany, a lot of people, so in Germany, you can't like make videos discussing the Nazi either. If
Yeah.
you can't show Nazi imagery, you can't make videos discussing the Nazis,
yeah.
and like you can't be a violent neo-Nazi. Like Jack Prosybek's fucking account was basically like blocked in Germany for a long time until he got temporarily banned into Twitter after the January 6th stuff. But like for Twitter's extra stupid thing is like Elon Musk just refuses to do this thing. Like you have a way of solving this problem. It's a pretty easily solvable problem.
Yeah.
Go along with what they're telling you, ban these morons. Like ban these morons who aren't really making you all that much money in the first place. Like this is
Well-
only an act that makes you look worse to the advertisers that you're already trying to sue.
Well, I think it's very clear he's not trying to make money.
Yeah, I think it's just a control thing because I don't think he
Of
makes any
course.
money off of it.
It
I
hasn't
think-
been
I think
profitable.
He's
the
not
last few
trying to
years.
appease he's not trying to appease to advertisers on purpose. He's not trying to make money on purpose. He's trying to make the site worse on purpose. Like he literally just did it to show like the former Twitter team that he can now own the site and he has enough money
Yeah,
to
yeah.
force them to
I
do
can
whatever.
buy you with my daddy's money.
I think that like the main thing that gets me is
No.
like the reason that he's like flying himself and some other lawyer out to Brazil to try to get this overturned or try to get it injuncted or at least give him time, basically buy him time before it gets completely banned, I think.
Yeah.
Last I saw on the news. And
Wow.
the thing about it that's like very funny to me is it's like it's got to be one of the dudes who was feeding him money is like, hey, look, I've got interests that involve Brazil not being banned on Twitter. If you want to keep getting money to keep his lights on, you've got to play ball and not get banned. Make it at least look like you're not getting banned on Twitter. Because right now he just looks like an idiot. He's just licking the soda
Yeah,
bottle.
he's just licking the soda.
Hey,
What a little guy.
I want to try it. Yeah.
Little guy of little
Aw.
guys.
Hey, buddy. Oh,
Yeah, like he
Yeah.
genuinely seems like a moron. Like the more that you look at, like this is just another
Well-
chapter in the book labeled "Elon Musk is not exactly smart."
Well,
Actually.
legal wise too, if he's known about this for a while and he's been
Hey.
putting it off, no judge, as far as I know from most countries that are like functioning executive or legislative branch,
Mhm.
no judge will say, I know you didn't answer us for 359 days, but because you came forward finally, we're going to let you off easy and extend it another 30 days to figure this out.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Like, usually, if you're bad faith avoiding court,
Mhm.
you are seen very obviously as the person in the wrong.
I think that he's probably like the best thing that he could probably get out of it is like give them a fake plan
Yeah.
for like, you know, okay, give me the list of the users, I'll see about banning them, you know,
Yeah.
give me an exact list of the stuff and try to like fight it on a case by case basis of like, okay, now hang on, that we don't have any way of knowing that this is what this guy meant, you know, kind of doing the whole like it's a euphemism thing. How do I know that
Oh, it's a
storm
joke.
the Capitol is a real thing? That could have been a euphemistic statement. Was that
Mm.
really actionable? Who's to say?
He was just trolling.
But even then, it's just like it still makes you look like a f***ing idiot if you
Well-
probably knew that this is coming for like the better part of a month or something like
Ow.
that. He
Yeah.
likes to bite. Yeah,
What are you doing?
he's being a silly guy.
Just looking at me. hello.
Thank you. Oh, you giving me kisses. Thank you. Let me clean them whiskers.
He's the
Oh,
best.
wait, are you gonna? Oh, you want me to clean you? Oh, that's so cute. Another one. Thank you. And then I'll clean right here. Yeah. And then can I get some more? Can I get some more?
It's the most
Christ.
awkward shit ever. But yeah, that's the current landscape that we have. It's like it's amazing how many of the social media dudes are just complete f***ing dullards. Like Mark Zuckerberg is like a complete
Yeah.
child king moron too, with like
Like-
the VR crap that he
Well,
still hasn't given up on.
Even before that, when I was in college, we talked about how Mark Zuckerberg could have solved the entire crisis that Facebook started, like civil wars Facebook started,
Mhm.
and misinformation. He could have solved all of that if he just hired like 11 people.
Yeah,
Like, and he just refused to hire more people.
like they burn through safety people at like Facebook like crazy fucking fast.
But now look at how much money they've owed because of that. And I'm like, I understand you were well, I understand I don't agree with the fact that you were trying to save money by not hiring people. But you're an idiot because that matters more than anything because now look at you.
yeah, you
Yeah,
look
now
like a
you've
dumbass.
lost like billions of dollars.
And now everything on Facebook is like AI content slop. 17 million images of shrimp Jesus and I am veteran. It my birthday. No one loved me.
Yeah,
My
like
daughter
if you would say hello.
My child. Like what's the stupid Lamar Jackson shit is like like
Amen.
or amen or pass.
Amen for Jesus.
Amen
Pass
for
for
Jesus.
the devil. And then Lamar Jackson in the comment. Amen.
Amen.
You know Baltimore is gonna lose by like 20 points.
My child will blow his quad in the third quarter against the Chiefs.
Oh man, we gotta have our sports ball podcast.
Oh,
Me too.
no.
We gotta.
'Cause
I
I
can't
miss
wait for
talking
football,
about
dude.
it.
That's
Can't
the
wait
only
to
thing
hit
I'm
a
looking forward to.
touchdown.
Yeah, and baseball's already up there, already started, kind of getting their roll on. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't know. I've been into sports a lot more recently.
Yeah,
I think
it's easier.
it's something you can like just turn on and kind of look at every now and then.
Yeah, and then occasionally, like, you can kind of laugh because some weirdo that's like, all right, like see what Aaron Rodgers is getting up to, see him blow his ankle in the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
quarter, first pass of first quarter or whatever, first game. Like,
It would be so funny if Aaron Rodgers caught polio.
Oh my god.
I wouldn't put it past him, man. Like, he's such a weird freak that he's like. Speaking of like people who've like
Smallpox.
like
Yeah.
Facebook pilled their entire brain. They've just entirely boiled their brain in the Facebook piss. Aaron Rodgers just genuinely seems like one of those guys, like the
on purpose,
ayahuasca
yeah.
weird hippie
I don't
shit,
even think he's like
crystal
an
mom stuff,
ayahuasca guy. I think he's like a
anti-vax,
yeah.
weird freak ass motherfucker.
What's
closest.
ayahuasca again?
Ayahuasca is a drug that is a hallucinogenic,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically a lot of people use it to do ego death or to trip balls,
Oh yeah.
and they just like, and it's like it used to be used for shamanistic.
What's the one that
Rituals.
like makes you high forever?
I don't know.
Dorita?
DMT is pretty strong. I don't think like high
Forever?
forever is a little bit
Well, you
Forever.
know, it's. I'm not saying
a
it's
long-term
true.
high or whatever.
Forever.
I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying what I remember.
Peyote is like really powerful. It gives you a very long-term high. Technically,
Jesus makes me high forever.
that's right. Liker repost Paz.
What else has happened recently outside?
I don't know. I stopped using Twitter. This is an aside. I stopped using Twitter and I stopped using like most social media outside of like a 10-minute window during my day. I have to say, I am running out of things to talk about with common folk very quickly, but I don't feel like I have brain worms.
I've stopped
never
using it
felt
like a
like
lot
that.
on. I think it was like I was bouncing between like Twitter and like I tried Blue Sky for a while,
Yeah.
and then like Blue Sky is just like boring as shit. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing but incredibly weird, cringy like math head liberals, and you're like,
Yeah.
none of you guys
Well,
are really all that interesting
every
or funny. And then you just go back to Twitter, and then it's like I use that for like a couple minutes a day or whatever, and then just the rest of the time it's like I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I like cooking and listening to dumb music or whatever, you know.
And Threads is just AI slop too.
Yeah. Oh,
Like-
it's because it's the same thing with like
Yeah.
Facebook. It's like anything related to Facebook and Meta is just AI slop shit.
Like and post.
I stopped using Instagram because it was like I specifically curated an Instagram account to do hobby stuff, like hobby
Yeah.
resource stuff or birding, right? So it's like, pictures of birds, pictures of hobby stuff. And that's all I wanted out of Instagram.
This dude looks at birds.
I do look at birds. I
Look
love
at
birds.
birds.
But like
Birds are just dinosaurs.
then
Ooh.
they changed the algorithm where they would just inject slop into your feed no matter what. Like you would just get shit that's like, this is not what I want.
Mhm.
Like no matter how many times you press the "I am not interested in this
Yeah,
content"
I
button,
think the
it
"I am
just
not"
it brings it back anyway.
Well, the thing is, I think I am not interested button just doesn't work on any platform.
No,
not
it does.
YouTube. It doesn't work on YouTube.
Oh.
It doesn't work on.
It works for a
like
while.
Twitter.
It worked for a bit on YouTube, but like they changed their algorithm
The
too.
thing is, like,
Yeah.
I think you just have to block the channel because I've
I
had
agree.
I
Yeah, yeah.
block a
Goodbye,
site-
Wendigoon.
yeah, like yeah, see a Wendigooner.
Get outta here, Kira TV.
Yeah, if I want to watch him, I
like
gotta.
Wendigoon.
You know.
He's good enough. I haven't seen any scandalous content about him yet.
No, I don't care about that.
Yeah, but like,
You can
I
just
think-
not like watching something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
like
isn't
the,
really interesting to me anymore.
yeah, all I'm saying is like, I've done the I'm not interested in this. Hit the refresh button, back on the front page. I'm like, it literally didn't even work for a minute.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what's the point?
It's tough. Like social media was like this huge promise of like we can connect and do all this stuff, and it's like Twitter is the only thing in my mind that came close to that for a really long time until like they just let it get swarmed with
Well,
just
I
the most
think
annoying
don't
human
use-
beings.
Yeah, I think my
imaginable.
Twitter is pretty like still pretty great from the algorithm change.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I just gotta.
But I have to like block every.
Oh,
third
dude, that's the thing.
person.
Like you
Yeah.
have to be like the Bugs Bunny cartoon, just like just immediately shoot whatever. You got to be
Yeah.
very quick on the block trigger to like actually be able to like make a timeline that doesn't suck ass. Like I've gotten it down to a science. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
look,
I don't.
funny post, Tokatsu stuff, birds. That's it, hobby stuff. But then even then, occasionally
This
you'll
guy.
see some rage bait motherfucker slip in, and you're like, you again, and you gotta
Yeah.
block them down, smack them with the block stick.
I think Pinterest was the best one for me. My Pinterest became so organized at one point where I was like, this is dangerous because I can just look at this for hours now.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is so.
And then AI slop became available on Pinterest. Like
I
it
just
sucks.
don't.
Yeah, I haven't used Pinterest in a very long time.
I don't really get like bad recommendations on Twitter at all, even without using the block button that often. Though like the worst thing is when you follow somebody because they can retweet like the bad, like, and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I think like sometime or they like it and it goes on your feed and it's just like you don't know who did it, and then like, I follow 500 people. How am I supposed to like curate who like did this stupid thing?
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like it's not that big. I don't really. The thing is too, I don't really follow like politics guys. Like the furthest left is like all a liker. Like there's no.
I don't really. I stopped following politics guys a long time ago because a lot of those dudes just got like real weird around the coronavirus. Like you could tell, like 2021, like 2020 was the last time any of those dudes were like a lot of those dudes got normal, and then like 2021 flipped over, and it's like, oh, half of these guys are hyper freak motherfuckers. Like holy shit, I gotta get out of this sphere. And just kind of you just follow like a bunch of like very nominally interesting people who are like left wing, like the beer person.
Yeah.
Always
Who?
fun.
Uh,
Beer person. They're kind of funny occasionally.
yeah, I also noticed like a lot of it was like inner leftist fighting, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't care about your.
Like I don't
nuanced
give a
opinion.
shit about Vosh.
Yeah,
He's just
yeah.
a weird freak. I'm
Yeah.
gonna. Haven't
He-
talked to that guy in 4 years. I do not care about what
You
his
talk
opinions
to
are.
him?
Yes,
That's
Oh,
cringe.
wow.
You know he's from Destiny Chat, right?
yes. I also know that he's from New Mexico. Like he's extremely fucking cringe, right? He's weird. He's a cringe lord guy. He's extremely there. He has no inner monologue. I'm convinced after listening to that guy talk about stuff and
Wasn't
talking to
he
him, he has
a-
no inner monologue at
Wasn't
all.
he a police guy? Like he's a
He flip flops over to whatever
No,
it
no,
makes
I'm
him
not saying, like,
numbers.
no, I'm
Like
not
an
saying,
actual
like,
police officer.
like he's like gotten in with them and like rats people out and stuff.
Oh, yes, of course.
Like,
yeah, he
Yeah, he's
literally
a
admitted
Fed.
on
Yeah,
stream
he's
that
a
he was a
fed.
Fed.
Yeah.
But like even then, that's like the least and like stupid thing that he does. Like he restarted the Kink It Pride discourse a couple years back.
No,
like,
that was him. That's funny.
yeah, he
That's
did that one
cringe.
year. That was cringe. Like he did it again in 2023, which is real cool. Thanks, fuckhead. He like did some fucking AIDS misinformation bullshit after a while, and you're like, fuck, dude, shut your fucking mouth. And it's like this is what you do all day is just like find hot take to say.
Yeah, that's
Like
literally
you don't got books, you ain't got video games. Like you not even video games, dude. I respect people who play Madden 24/7 over people like Vosh.
Yeah, it's
At least those dudes are interesting to talk to occasionally.
I
You
mean,
might
it's
be
like
like, "Yeah, I ever heard of the
Drake.
new Kendrick song?" And they're like, "Yeah, man, that was cool. I love it. It was great."
oh
or
my
whatever.
god,
you know.
there was some dude when the Kendrick stuff happened. I was like, I don't care about Kendrick at all, and like I'm like, but you care about Drake, and you're not invested at all. You just don't like the fact that it's popular.
I mean,
Yeah.
How about you?
don't say it.
Redacted.
Don't say it. Thank you.
Redacted.
Thank you. We're learning here.
Ooh,
I-
learning here?
you're a certified.
Oh, boy.
That's all I'm saying is if you don't like engaging with something just because it's popular, you're the lowest IQ individual in the room, I think.
Yeah, you just kind
Yeah, I mean,
of no inner monologue.
I,
No
yeah.
inner monologue. Yeah,
Nothing
you're-
there.
Bro sees the most prolific thing and goes, "Oh, that's cool." Walks in a museum. Nice picture.
I mean, that's better than just being like, huh, a black artist? What an oxymoron. Like those type of people. Like I've heard that shit, dude.
I'm
like
more-
no, it wasn't
when
even.
you-
It
when
wasn't
you-
even that. He was just like
I'm not
liked
gonna,
Drake music. Like he genuinely thought Drake was a better artist than him, and it's just like I don't know how you listen to both of those like the beef at all. Like he just probably didn't listen at all. I was like, I don't know how you could like go into it and not think someone got stomped.
I have no opinion on anything
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. Having an opinion on something is not smart.
Yeah, I don't know.
That yeah, when you said like black and artist, how I'm not gonna lie, for a split second, my brain went crazy, and I was like, I'm gonna hit him. It's like,
my
yeah.
way of talking is like too good.
Yeah,
I like so there's sometimes where I was like they were listening to what was it? It was like shit. It was my boss was talking about like rap music or we're like I
Oh,
tell you rap
boy.
music ain't been good since the 80s. And he like listens
Yeah, I'm
listens to all
walking
these
down the
fucking
street
artists
with
like
shoes
yeah
on my feet.
And
like
then-
Cool in the Gang and I'm like Shut the fuck up, dude. Come on. Like most of those guys in the 80s
I
were decent
I
for what
mean,
like for their time, and they were important to like the movement and art as a whole, but like saying that
It
that's the
reminds
end all
me.
be all makes you sound so
well,
It
lame.
it's
reminds me of the
also
Northern Lion bit where he's just like constantly like doing like the I'm a normal kind of guy and I'm here to say don't do drugs because they make you stuff
yeah.
like that. Like
They,
that's the rap they're
yeah.
talking about. They want
Well,
some.
like
Yeah.
it's okay to like that type of music too. Like I don't think that you should gatekeep like decades of rap, but also like to be like, oh, you know who is really like the best rapper ever? De La Soul. What do you think of this new rap music? Nah, it's all ghetto thug stuff. It's like,
Oh, what's
brother,
that?
that's
Odd
crazy.
Future? Absolutely not. Listen to Cool and Kid and Play
Play.
and
What's-
get back to me on what a real artist is.
Yeah.
What is this mumble rap? Shit?
And
I
it's just
can't
a guy
even.
from Atlanta
I can't
rapping.
even
Yeah,
And
it's like a
understand what he's
normal,
saying.
normal, very
Yeah.
understandable rap, right?
It's like
just-
Andre
No, I can't
3000.
understand. I can't understand a word of what this guy's saying. He
See,
needs to
this is
speak
why I don't
clearly.
like this music. I just can't understand what they're saying. And then they listen to like
It was like
the most deranged pop stadium country
it's
music.
like I don't understand
The
what
most
Vince
forced.
Staples is trying to say on this album. And it's like just a very open, clear. I miss my friends. A lot of them are
yeah.
It's like that's I don't know. I feel like that was an
I can't believe he's
understandable one.
promoting this violence.
Hold on.
I have great regrets about how my life went and how
Dude.
many of the people I love are gone.
Due to the
You see, this is how
environmental
this is why this degeneracy is spreads in the United States. I've heard this shit from my
know.
coworkers, and you're
I
like, "What the f- are you
heard this
talking about?"
I had a guy say that about. So I worked UPS for a bit, a long time ago, and I had a worker who was with me who was riding me around, and I was like, "Do you listen to rap?" He's like, "Yeah, but I only listen to like, real rappers." And I was like, "Okay, what does that mean?" And he's like, talk about stuff that matters. I hate all that other
Like
stuff.
Logic.
Like, no, he went a completely different direction. He went like, how do I?
Foggiato Blow,
no.
Tom McDonald.
No. He went like,
Who's the
Ghostface
Hobson?
Killer.
Hobson.
no, he
yeah.
went like Jadakiss. He went like Currency. He was like, I was like, I've never heard this stance before. That the only rap that matters is like people who are now like C tier rappers from the past decade. Like those are the only ones. Who's the one that he's a southern rapper. He's older. It's not Ti. It's like he's worked with like Kendrick before too and J. Cole. They did a song together. I'm trying to think. It's like, oh, I gotta look it up. Otherwise, I'm gonna hate it. But
Put your pants right there.
thank you. But I'm gonna
Mhm.
find it. But here,
Like I remember like discussing artists that I like, and this is like a couple years back. They're trying to like somebody like very this very kind ribbing, right? Like very notable, very typical ribbing of like a working class workplace. Like, oh Riley, what music you like? I'm like, I don't know, just like a lot of different stuff. And they're like, oh, what a Maroon 5? And I'm like, no, no, okay. So, well, what's your favorite artist? I'm like trying to think about it. Like, no, I'll guess. And I'm like, ooh, this is a minefield. I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
go
I mean, that
ahead.
feels very that feels very unfair to you. I'm
You
not
look
saying
like
that you're not
a
gonna guess.
REM kind of guy.
Yeah, REO Speedwagon, that kind of you're ZZ Top, right?
you
The
look
beard?
like you listen to one of them Backstreet Boys.
Let me guess.
Well,
Aubrey
let me see,
Plaza.
Charlie XCX. They didn't. No, they didn't even go.
That
That
would be
deep,
so
right?
funny
That would have been
if
if
they
they had
were
like
like-
pointed to me and be like,
Oh my god, that's basically
They-
calling you a
100
Yeah.
gigs, and you're like,
They're like,
if they knew what like any of those types of people were, so it's like really normal people who are just like, top 100 types, which is fine. I'm not saying if you like popular music, you're an idiot. Or
I
whatever.
will. I'll say
I
it
won't.
because he
Feels
won't
bad
have
say
to.
that.
I'm not gonna care. But they're lifting off like a bunch of stuff, like real basic shit, like Metallica or blah blah. I'm like, well, no, I don't find any of those bad. There's not my thing. one of them says like Bruno Mars, and I'm like, okay, no shade to Bruno Mars, but no,
Yeah, I'm not a big,
not a huge.
You know
fan.
what's messed up? My girlfriend had a huge crush on Bruno Mars, and then I was like, I looked
I
up
could
how
kind of
tall.
see it.
Yeah, I mean, he is handsome, and he can sing and perform.
Yeah,
I just, out of all the people growing up to like as an artist, Bruno
Mhm.
Mars is like the craziest one because I see that guy as like the Macy's Day Parade type artist. Like, like I
Yeah,
love his music,
you
but
know,
like for some reason he just has that family appeal.
yeah, like there's like ones
Yeah.
where it's like they guess like Macklemore, and I was like, okay,
That's crazy. That's an insult.
that is an insult. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't really fault them for it. Like a bunch of other stuff, like other white people music stuff, like do you like country? And I'm like, no, not really. And they're like, okay, well that eliminates most of the field. I'm like, that eliminates most of the field. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
The only time I ever got stuff like that, they just always say Nirvana.
Yeah,
Like 100% of the time, you look like a kind of guy who likes Nirvana. I'm like, I don't care about
Yeah, yeah.
Nirvana.
like
what
they
do you-
didn't even really get into like all that deep genre shit. They're just like, okay, well, what's the genre then? I'm like, okay, rapper, just off the bat. Yeah, that'll slim down the things. And they finally guessed Tyler the Creator. I'm like, close. He's associated with them. You can Google that if you want. Googling is not cheating in this instance.
He's associated with them, with your favorite artist.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince Staples.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could probably you could probably find Vince Staples through Odd Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Earl Sweatshirt.
hmm
Yeah.
So like they guessed Earl Sweatshirt next, and I was like, okay, really close.
Yeah, that is
very
pretty
very close. Associate with that person. Just Google it, and they're like, they refuse. They're like, no, I will guess. And then they're like, okay, Tyga. I'm like,
That's
way
crazy.
far
Yeah.
off. No.
What, his OnlyFans? Like what are you talking about? Like he makes music still?
yeah, like
Yikes.
they go through all these other things. I'm like, well, no, I don't hate any of these artists, but that's not the one. I'm like, and the day ends, they're like, okay, I asked my son some things. I've made a list, and then they do a bunch of double guesses, and Lil Dicky comes up, and I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
that's crazy.
You know how many-
absolutely
But
not.
you know how many people I've met who their favorite rapper is Lil Dicky?
Probably quite
It's
a lot.
insane. Yeah.
How many of them are white?
Not a lot of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I
not
met
a
a,
lot of them.
I
Lil
met
Dicky
a-
has a very big black audience.
You did a thing with Snoop Dogg. That was not
Yeah.
bad. That was probably his best song, honestly.
Yeah, I like. Yeah, I think so. Probably. He has some other songs like. I like some of his freestyles. That's what a lot of people like is
Mhm.
his freestyles because
Yeah.
he is pretty good at free. Okay, he doesn't freestyle. He has writtens that he goes up and then he freestyles over a beat. But
Mhm.
like they're writtens.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But like
That's
I
an
say that,
insult.
and they're like they freak the fuck out because like that's not a real artist. I'm like, it's super a real artist.
Yeah.
He came out with an album that year. I'm like,
Yeah.
Who?
real artist Vince Staples. Like, at that time, he had come
Yeah.
out with art. He did also come out with an album this year as well.
Was
Very
it?
good.
Were you listening? What was it then? Was it like Big Fish Theory or was it?
That would have been.
It might have been Ramona Park.
I think so. Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
one that's got with that.
Oh no. Yeah, that's the.
I never heard of Vince Staples at all.
Yeah, you have.
Like, are you with
Who?
that or whatever? I think is the one that was.
Bitch,
it.
you thirsty? Please grab a Sprite.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
crib
yeah.
look,
North,
don't
yeah.
die tonight.
Oh,
I
I've
just
heard
wanna
this
This
stay
album.
with you,
is-
just don't move too
That
fast.
one's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy. I love his.
What album was this?
Somber
Oh, the
attitude.
self-titled album
Like,
or whatever.
the one of
in
his face?
2021. Yeah, the one with
Yeah.
his face. Yeah, 2021 one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the one that had come out at that point, and they're like, they got furious because like it's not a real artist. I'm like, it
What are
is,
you
and they
talking
said the
about?
statement. Well, what is he won? And I'm like,
What is he? What?
what the fuck are you talking about?
Huh?
Like that was my trouble.
What has
like,
Little Dicky won?
Yeah.
yeah, like, well, I mean, what is a lot of artists won? Most
Yeah.
artists don't win anything. Like, sure, occasionally you'll get people who've won Grammys and stuff, but they gave Drake a Grammy.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember. Wait. I had a bit. I'm
What is
losing
that
it.
sound?
What?
the clicking sound,
Sounds like a dishwasher. Or...
clock.
No. it's the- Sorry, I
Is that
thought you
the
were shaking
fridge?
so
Yeah, I think
hard.
that's a
I thought
fridge,
you
yeah.
were shaking so
No,
hard.
no.
You were shaking
He was so
something. I
scared.
No,
was like,
no.
what's going on?
No, but I couldn't remember who the guy was from the UPS, like who he liked a lot. But it was somebody like Gunplay. It was somebody who's like a very like obscure like
Mhm.
Southern rapper.
That would have pissed my coworkers off so much, dude.
But to say that's the only real form of rap is crazy. That's like
Yeah.
guys who listen to Suicide Boys and are like,
Mhm.
this is real rap. It's like, okay, one, that's two white guys. That's crazy to say that's real rap. And then to like point to them as like the saviors of hip hop.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I hate that. I hate that.
It's and then the other side of the coin for me was like, yeah, it's the mainstream kind of like, if they haven't won anything, it's not like, it isn't like an important thing. And it was mostly just they were pissed that they couldn't get it. I'm like, and I told them straight up, you're not going to get it. And they're annoyed that I was right that they weren't going to get it. And it wasn't even like a competition. I was like, over and over, do you just want me to tell you? No, I will get it. I'm like, I doubt it.
I don't think I have a favorite artist. I think I have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
Could you guess my favorite artists?
I would say be very
Frank Ocean.
vanilla.
Frank Ocean is really good, but he's not. He's
I don't know,
a
Kendrick, maybe, if you wanted to be vanilla ice cream about it. you know?
Kendrick's up there, yeah. I think Kendrick is probably like the most successful out of my favorite artists.
Mhm.
But it's not just hip hop artists.
Yeah,
I'll say
okay.
that.
That's fair. That's
So
fair.
like, actually, this other one, you know who they are. They're
Pearl
very
Jam.
There's that. Don't call me daughter. do. Yeah.
That's right. The
Wh-
Talking Heads, greatest musicians ever all
I'm
time.
telling you, if you don't listen to the Talking Heads, and imagine like a well-versed Talking Heads fan who's also a fan of like The Cure, and also is from like middle of nowhere, Virginia.
I don't
That's-
know.
Somehow
know
I
what you
could
want.
believe it.
Yeah.
man.
But I really like God, this sounds cringe. I don't even want to say who I like. I feel cringe saying it. But I like Father John Misty a lot. I like his music a lot. I think he's kind of annoying. Do you know who he is?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
All right, never mind. I don't feel any shame then. And when it comes to rappers, I think, can I be honest with you? I think Chance the Rapper might be my actual favorite rapper ever. Because when he came out with acid rap, and that's a very plain thing to say, because like the grip that Chance the Rapper held on the white community of hip hop artists, of hip hop listeners, was crazy. But I did think he was like very like early Kanye esque, like from Chicago, conscious rapper, like in the sense of like talking about actual issues, like how there's guns in Chicago, and then there are parking spots.
Can I
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
nitrous today?
Can I?
Can I have the
Freddy
nitrous
Fazbear. That's what your image is in my phone.
Oh my god.
The same one. It was like, what a coincidence.
Yo, can I have the nitrous today, man?
Can I have the nitrous? Anyway, can I have some nitrous today? Do you see people are doing nitrous now?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
bringing it to parties now?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is
It's
it
the
because
new
of it's
thing.
because of Kanye?
So yeah, a lot of people
That's
are. Yeah, it introduced a lot of people to it.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
already
couldn't
knew that people
imagine
do.
just
Like, it was
huffing
like
laughing gas, dude. What the hell's wrong?
there's
with
like a
you?
lot of people who do, like, who I would know that had like custom rigs or whatever for it, like back in the day, where it's like you get like the cake sprayer thing, and
Yeah.
then you hook it up to like a charcoal filter, and then you suck it through the charcoal filter to get out the impurities of
what
like the
whippets
whipping cream
are?
thing. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
what whippets are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
But,
Steven
like-
did it.
Yeah, that's true. Steven did it. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do it, but you see like the little tiny nitrous canisters,
Yeah.
like tons and tons and tons of those. I
oh, that's
literally,
what's wrong
it's
with
such
that's
a.
what's wrong with them.
No. There's something else.
There was a. It's
Might
funny
be
because
part
it's
of it.
like how mainstream it's gotten, because it's like I always thought it was something that like pretty much everyone did, or rather,
Yeah.
just because of how often you see it. Like
yeah.
you go to certain parts of like some cities or certain parts of like really rural areas,
Yeah.
and it's like you'll just find a spot that's just got tons of nitrous
And
canisters.
canisters. Yeah.
All over the place. There's a
That's
huge problem in London
crazy.
for a while too. Like just
I ain't doing it in London, huh?
yeah, you know,
I,
Birmingham.
All right.
Birmingham, you know, like
you have a
want-
bit-
you
Yeah,
got
do
you
some
got a
nitrous
license for that whipped
guy.
cream sprayer. I'm making a cake, gov.
I'm putting on my pound cake, okay?
Listen, I run a bakery out
Oh.
on Leeds. You can't prove that I'm doing this nitrous.
Could you imagine being? I feel so bad for the British security, Could you imagine being like a police officer in Britain? Like that's like the worst job imaginable
They
to me.
do not get paid very well either.
No,
Like
they yeah.
they're probably worldwide one of the lowest paid cops
What
inside
do
the
they
entire
call 'em?
planet.
What do they call them?
Well, the
Like the
joke one is
slang?
Bobby's or whatever, but like
Yeah, like the blue something blue or something. I don't remember.
no clue.
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway.
But like,
whatever.
they're not very well paid. It's like a dog job. Like there's not enough of them. Like literally, and not in the American idea of not enough cops. It's like they
No, like they
actually
actually
don't
don't
have
fund them.
enough
Yeah.
cops or funding for
Yeah.
this service or whatever. They don't have enough rescue personnel either, which was like, anytime they have like the Grenfell fire, the tower fire or whatever, it was one of those times where it was like, we clearly don't have enough rescue personnel. All these people died because we didn't have enough firefighters or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, they're just like, all right, now I hear your concerns that we don't have enough rescue personnel, and the next time one of these big fires is going to happen, thousands of people are going to die, but we're cutting emergency services again.
So, how long do you think it's going to be before how long do you think it's going to be before America bans Twitter?
Probably never.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's like, in America it's a lot different. Like we don't really have laws against that kind
Oh,
of
sorry.
shit.
Let me rephrase that. How long do you think it'll be in our lifetime before we have disinformation laws reinstated?
Never.
I'm
You
not
don't
so
think
certain
so?
anytime. Like it's one of those things where America has this
You work for
very
NATO.
moronic, childish version of free speech, right? Where like, are you holding it up to just trying to get a word in edgewise for sheet metal? Sheet metal. What do you think of Brazil banning Twitter?
What do you think about our current climate crisis?
I don't think he cares. He's got like climate crisis,
I'm 8 weeks
climate, get
old.
me more tuna, idiot. Heyo. So
Sheet metal. What do you think, sheet metal? What do you think is going to happen when the water rises 2 to 3 meters? Can I get it? Can it? Sheet metal. What do you think is going to happen? Sheet metal. Where will you move to? Okay, thank you, sheet metal.
excellent content. But like I don't think America has like that kind of idea. Like we have a very moronic, childish version of like what would you call that? Like, oh, we idolize free speech
Yeah.
very heavily.
But
Like
we
it's
had it.
this.
I mean, we had censorship at one point that actually mattered, like Disinformation Act.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we've had acts.
But that's like those were always under the idea and the auspices of like, again, like public health stuff, right? Like you
Yeah.
cannot purposefully tell people to poison themselves.
Yes, I can.
Well,
Really?
now you
Yeah.
can, yeah. Like you could
What do you
totally
mean?
get people to fucking drink bleach if you really want to or whatever. There's no laws against it because we just kind of like stripped it down to the
I don't know,
bare
You know what happened
studs.
recently? The pork stuff. That was crazy.
Mhm.
Well, that
Yeah.
was from the deregulation.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
a deregulation
Well,
4 years ago or
Well,
whatever.
like we called it right when it happened, you
Mhm.
know, and you
Yeah.
know, I'm pretty sure like
Yeah, I mean,
our parents
everybody.
didn't think anything of it.
Yeah,
and my
yeah.
mom was talking to this, so he's like, "Yeah, 8 people died."
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
from
like
listeria.
Mhm.
Yeah.
because we don't like a lot of it. We just cut corners and everything else, and then Glenn Youngkin similarly cut back on a lot of the
Glenn
regulation stuff
Youngkin?
for Virginia specifically.
Thanks, Glenn
Because
Youngkin.
we have a bunch of pork plants in Virginia, because it's like Boar's Head in particular, and a lot of other places.
Wow, the one that killed everybody.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Because it's based here, but we cut all those safety regulations because it's like, I'm Glenn Youngkin, business boy. This is the This is the good for the business for Virginia. And you're like, no, Glenn Youngkin, that's fucking stupid. It's gonna get people killed. Nuh-uh.
But
Fuck
it's
you
gonna
mean,
make us
nuh-uh.
money.
And
It's gonna
speaking
make
of
us
which,
money.
how would you like another casino? I was like, no, I would
Isn't
like
that crazy?
to
they
not
keep
die from
trying to
import.
put casinos in Virginia.
It's fucking nuts. Like,
Yeah, like, this
it's
is like a
literally just
hotbed.
like, it's not
They
work. Like they
keep- well,
keep
the thing
doing
is-
the fucking casino laws for gambling
it's because they
machines
have-
inside of gas stations. Like, it's already bad everywhere, but they're like literally like, oh no, anyone can put them anywhere.
I think it's
You
because
see-
it's
you
the-
walk in Wawa, see a slot machine.
We
I think
got
it's
rid
the
of them
easiest
where we're at.
way that they can think of. I think it's the easiest and scummiest way they can think of to help the hotel / housing
Yeah.
crisis is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like
Yeah, of course.
you don't think about anything more than like 30 days into the future, do you?
Yeah,
Not
'cause
not even
like,
30
all
to-
those
like 10
places
minutes.
suck to go to. Like, they're like, back before
But we had stuff like, Virginia Beach and
Mhm.
stuff like that as like
Chesterfield
tourist
too. Chesterfield
destinations.
bought the rights to build a Rosie's
Oh
on
wow.
the
Yeah.
border between Chesterfield and Richmond because it was originally going to be in Richmond, but Richmond, like, I think for whatever reason, was like, nah, we don't want it. And so Chesterfield's like, hey, come on over. Ends right there. That's where it can go. And that area hasn't improved since they stuck that roses there.
Yeah, that happens.
I just don't
Hey,
get
like
it. 'Cause,
it's not like
There's
it's not like it's revitalized that chunk of town. It's
'cause-
not like it's
'cause we
made
have,
Chesterfield
like-
County any richer.
like we have the convention center, we have
Yeah.
Boo's Sportsplex, we
Mhm.
have like I don't know what the Coliseum.
You definitely have a Rosie's down
Yeah,
there.
we
like
have a Rosie's.
Rosie's, but like
Yeah.
there's tons of like things in Virginia that like people want to come down
The
and
Saudi Arabians were trying to build
have-
a water park inside of Moseley, Virginia.
That's so
That's
sick.
crazy.
Actually.
like
Like
th-
if they're gonna
that's,
be
like,
Saudis in Virginia giving us money, I'd rather have it be to that instead of our private military industrial complex.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there's so many things
Less
like
destructive.
we have
just stupid.
like
Yeah.
Williamsburg, we have like there are things in tourist destinations
National
that people
Bridge.
like want to come for, but then you don't put the hotels in those areas.
You don't also
Like-
build up those areas either because
No.
like
Like-
there's no roads, there's
Well,
there's
the-
not a lot of
the
state
thing
maintenance
closest
out
to the
there.
Coliseum is a Waffle House that the last time I went with Steven, we saw like 3 people strapped up at like 2 a.m. like going with like
You gotta be
guns
if you're
everywhere.
going to Waffle
And I'm
House.
just like,
Well-
okay, how about we like do something with the area first instead of
No, where they slap the Rosies down too, usually, and this is how it works across the country, is usually at one point or another, they end up just adding it to a already existing shopping center, which ends up going into zoning laws because you can't park that many people in most places because that's a casino. Like it can be overbooked in one night, like especially on a sports night, like a
Mhm.
gambling night.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like a gambling high night. Like that's like that in itself is like pretty much impossible to run. Like
Yeah.
without the infrastructure around it, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But they just slap it next to like, oh, there's a Wendy's, a McDonald's, there's a
There's a T-Mobile
Yeah.
across the street,
Yeah,
all these
uh,
other places, a fucking
CC's.
check cashing place down the
CC's.
road,
I haven't been to CC Pizza in so long.
I
actually.
assume that it's still dog.
Well, yeah, but
I had the last thing I ever had from CC's was their cookie pizza.
oh, cookie pizza.
was just a
That
big
probably
giant-
would go hard, yeah.
just a
They had a
big giant
brownie pizza
cookie.
once.
I like their like
They had like a
desserts
they had
and
like what was
stuff.
it the
a really.
blondie brownie pizza where it's like a half cookie half brownie swirl pizza. That went crazy.
I
but
guess,
that
like,
was the last time I
That's
went.
crazy.
like
I'm
16
surprised
years
they
ago.
didn't
It's
go out of
crazy to think
business
of you eating that
during
Yeah.
like.
with who you are now.
How does
I was so
CC's
fat back
not go
then,
out
it
of
was delicious.
business during the coronavirus? Like when it's an open buffet pizza.
Well, they got
place?
a lot of businesses got
Takeout stuff.
Okay.
well, a lot of
I mean,
businesses
Because you
got,
could already do
uh,
takeout at CC's, but like I guess they probably
didn't
just
know
like
that.
survived and scraped by just doing that.
I had no idea they did that.
Yeah, they did catering and shit.
You didn't know you could just grab some CC's and leave. I
Yep.
need 10 CC's of this right now.
I need
stat.
a 10 macaroni and cheese pizzas stat.
Yeah,
You could do that if you wanted to.
I couldn't imagine.
I wouldn't know why you would want to. I hadn't been there in so long.
Well,
It's just like it's such a
What?
crazy thing to think about, you know.
well,
You
what
need to play Voices of the Void for me.
I do. I have it installed.
are we gonna
Did you
play
haven't
played it.
Deadlock?
Yo, Lee, when I talked about it, you downloaded it?
Yeah, it's
That's
free.
Crazy.
I was interested, just haven't gotten a thing. I'll definitely play Deadlock
to-
with you guys.
Play it tonight.
Because I want to
No,
play.
no,
Dead-
not, I don't know about Deadlock.
I want to
but
play Deadlock tonight.
tonight.
Yeah, sure.
Tonight.
I
wanna
mean, I
play
got
it
time.
tonight.
I'll
look
make.
at
I
it,
just
yeah.
gotta
'Cause
make
I
dinner
wanna
and stuff.
stream. I'm gonna
But anyway,
I'm gonna
my
stream more.
my conclusion to the gambling thing was
I'll
like
probably play
most of the
WoW,
stuff now is
nothing.
just it's all scams. And no, it's not scams.
What?
Voices of the Void, not a scam.
That is not
very
a scam.
good.
That's a good game.
It's a
Is
fun
it a good
game.
game?
Yeah, it's cool.
It's
It's
a single
really neat.
I've watched so
Yeah,
much.
it's a single player
I've-
like simulation
Yeah,
game kind
I've
of.
played like
It's like kind of a horror game, but not really. It's like a very, very slow
I've
burn kind
probably
of horror game.
played-
It's more of a simulator.
at
Yeah.
least 60 hours of it.
There's a really cool game that I think you might like.
Mhm.
That's a horror game. It's called Basilisk 2000. It is
Ooh.
a ARG horror game where you are finding basically like this horror subplot while digging through, basically imagine a fake game maker engine. And you are digging through these fake game maker engine files to find the like this horrible secret about why this game was canceled. It's like a lost media.
I saw that.
That's
I think
sick.
I've seen it, and yeah, I don't know if I want to spoil it. Can I spoil it? It's
What are the likelihood that I'm gonna play this game if you recommend it to
zero.
me?
It's not that.
It's not that.
It's not like a video game.
not
Video
into
game.
it?
You're like going through like different levels.
It's like a it's like a
Yeah.
detective
It's not like a
game
fun
more.
game to
And
stream.
is that the one where like at the end of it you're going through the you're
Spoiler
going through
alert, spoiler alert.
whatever, you can cut it, I don't care. You're going through the like office of the people that made it, and like going through that one guy who was obviously going like crazy because of all of his other friends. I watched a YouTuber go through all of it, I think, outside of like the stuff that wasn't figured out, where like, and there was like a monster in the company kind of, but it's also metaphorical.
Yeah,
Like I think I've
I
seen it.
think
Yeah.
that it's interesting, and I do want to play
Yeah, it
through
was
that game
cool,
eventually.
and there's like a one where there's like an island in the sky, but it has like a tunnel that you go through with like a gondola. Yeah, okay, it is the one. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Then
Very
I've
interesting
seen.
stuff.
Was it a YouTube video watched about it? Because I watched
somebody else separately
Streamed it?
recommended that thing to me.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, like there's a lot of cool indie shit that's very fucking sick. But
Yeah, I watched. I watched.
I
a
get
lot
so
of,
disheartened when I look at the state of the economy, and just 90% of it is just scams. Have you heard of barn dominiums, Chase?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was distracted by the cat.
Of course.
But yeah, barn dominiums are actually becoming very popular right
Yeah.
now.
Those-
So
Barn
they're
condominiums?
barns that have been renovated into
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
condominiums.
very.
They're already
straightforward, whatever
either
this-
they can either be already existing structures, or there are companies that will build you the steel and aluminum
Yeah.
shell to
Of a
the
barn.
quote unquote barn, and then you renovate the inside, and it's like crazy more expensive
Yeah.
than just building a regular ass house.
And it's
But, like-
terrible to put like to the ergonomics of it. Let's say that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
of
like,
we
course.
should
so
put
like putting
Betsy
AC.
in the barnamendium, and then we get a lamp. We get a oil lamp with Betsy in there. We just kick it over.
Yeah.
What are
Of
you
course, it would
talking
have to
about?
be
I
outside of a
forgot what
major city.
I
The
forgot what
Chicago fire.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there goes the
Oh
plant.
no, the plant.
But
Yeah, Chicago fire.
the
that's
barn
it.
dominiums, the worst part about them too
Did you
is
wake
like
up?
they're
Sorry.
usually on property that isn't
It was the plant moving.
property specifically for the barn dominium. So
Yeah.
like they're an accessory structure.
Mm-hmm.
So they have different guidelines than normal housing.
Yeah.
And for a lot of cities and counties, what ends up happening is they can't even be there in the first place.
Yeah.
But they're selling them as if they're like one-offs, and you don't own. Jeez, I don't know what's wrong with me. You don't own the land around it.
Mhm.
Yes.
There is a the reason that I found that out is that there was a like back before, I think prior to like, you know, Kamala switching, Joe Biden, all that crap, Donald Trump and his cronies were basically hypothesizing that barn dominiums could be used to solve the housing crisis
Yeah.
for some reason. Like, and
it sounds
in
as stupid
response to
as,
that,
like,
there's
the,
like a whole bunch of like home renovation grifters that immediately started pumping ads on Twitter for that.
It sounds
Yeah.
as dumb as like the tiny houses.
Well, it's
thing
as
that was
dumb as the
happening.
actual solution that Kamala wants to give off, which is like a tax credit and also just deregulate housing.
Yeah,
It's the
which-
same thing.
Deregulate
Yeah,
housing.
so they
Yeah, it's
build more
already bad.
housing.
Which, like, why deregulate it
Well,
more? You know.
and the solution is so simple. It's just multi-family dwellings.
Yeah,
Like,
but like those quote unquote lower property values, they don't like, which is an
Yeah, that's just
insane
not
thing to
true.
think about
Yeah.
anyway. Like the people who write up property valuations basically operate in a cartel in the first place, and
Yeah.
they are the ones who get to artificially decide what does and does not lower property values.
yeah.
Like there's never really been a good study on like what the that really means. It's
Yeah.
basically neo redlining without redlining.
Yeah, because if
You,
you
you
add,
don't need to be explicit by saying black people can't live here with these type of property valuation
Yeah.
stuff. It's just like, yeah, okay, you know, if you want like a minute clinic and a multi-family dwelling, that's gonna lower the property values. Wink, wink,
Yeah.
nudge, nudge. You
Yeah,
know,
most zoning is controlled by city councils of
yeah,
wherever county or city you're in, and they have no regulations. They got in there usually by voting, which is like I've never even heard of a election for a council member. So like, and they have unlimited power. So most of the time, you get paid very little to be a
mhm,
council member, and then after you get paid very little to be a council member, you're allowed to essentially dictate what you want in your area.
yeah, yeah,
And you have like 1/5 of the say. So you and your retiree buddies who all ran for council
mm-hmm,
are usually the ones who end up doing modern day or neo redlining,
yeah,
which is just, oh, well, we can't do that because it's in our city code. And it's like, what's the city code say? And the city code's like, ruins the value of the intrinsic family value of the neighborhood.
yeah,
Unquantifiable number,
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
associated to it, no stats, no what does this mean, what do you mean by
mm,
that. It's just used as a, oh, well, we don't want multifamily dwellings here because that would ruin the feel of the neighborhood.
okay, but Chase,
Yeah.
I've got an idea. What we're gonna do
Okay.
is we're gonna build a tiny house.
Okay.
But then you're gonna take that tiny house
Right.
and you stack it on another tiny house.
Oh my
And
god,
then
I
you stack it on
wonder.
another tiny house
Yeah.
until you create a tiny house tower. What we don't need to build any complicated, silly architecture. It's just a tiny series of tiny houses stacked on top of each other.
I
It'll
feel
always work.
the guy in the room who's like, apartment complexes? No, 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 no. Towers of barndominiums? Okay, I'm thinking
The
about it. I'm thinking
barndominium
about
mega
it.
structure.
You don't own any of the land? No. Okay, so how's this different from an apartment? It's not safe.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it will
You don't
burn
get it.
down.
You do
You
not.
It
will
is
be crushed.
a
Oh,
series of
oh.
aluminum shells with no
Oh.
cladding.
I got to give you guys some insider knowledge too. So the reason why they do these barn dominiums is because barns for most states are heavily unregulated because farmers are the people who make the money in most rural states.
Yeah.
Meaning they are the barons of, like, they're able to actually do like what do you call it when you lobby? You're able to lobby people. I was going to say legal bribery. But
Well, yeah.
yeah, but let me just, yeah, they are the biggest lobbyists of every rural state as far as I know. Like, except for maybe if there's like an oil field or something in one state. But like, and it's like so many lobbyists compared to lawyers that it's insane. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
16 lobbyists per constituent that is in the political power of that state. Isn't that crazy? Like
Yeah.
16 farmers who are millionaires just paying out to be like, "Don't you regulate my barn. Don't you even look at it. You're not even allowed on my property.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't even look at, you can't even ask to look at a barn."
And it's such a
Yeah.
crazy fucking dumb homesteader grift where it's
Yeah.
like the only people who are actually going to get these fucking things and make any actual money and make them look good are the people who already have like a couple million dollars to begin with.
Yeah.
And they're just doing this for aesthetics.
Like-
Like
Those are
you're
so
like if you
unsafe.
are
yes.
yeah, like they're
Yes,
crazy
they are
unsafe. None of
unsafe.
them
And
are
they're not
really made
really,
purpose made for any of this shit.
yeah, they're not made to insulate heat or to
There's no
regulate
easy way to
temperatures.
repair them either. Like once that,
No.
once the
Metal
fucking
framing.
tin and fucking steel and aluminum shell gets damaged, you basically just have to replace the whole goddamn thing, which
Yeah.
is inevitably going to mean that you basically have to tear down a large portion of this dumbass condo
Yeah.
you've built inside
Hope,
of it. to
hope you
fix it.
learn how to speak welding, buddy.
Yeah, like yeah, you will learn how to fucking MIG weld,
Yeah.
moron.
We're gonna
Break out that fucking aluminum welding machine as your house got struck by lightning and now there's a big burnt hole in it that's causing your kitchenette to collapse.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff when it comes to the deregulation of housing that's happening. And I do think it's funny that they're listing like Kamala Harris as like Comrade Kamala. And I was like, every talking point she's had has been the most Republican, like
Like
I just
center
don't
right
understand.
Republican.
Yeah.
Ever.
Like because it's like deregulating of
like-
all of our things and
Yeah.
then not caring about like socially she's like, yeah, I don't care about gay people, they're fine, and then that's like the only thing people are looking at, or like the cultural aspect of it. Like the
I get
culture
like
war
why they get to
reaction.
get away with it. It's just like if you're listening to Biden just sit on his fucking thumb
Yeah,
doing all for 4 years and
Yeah.
like watching as Republicans get to just steamroll civil rights across the country. The minute you get two people on stage that have the balls to say, actually, I think that the anti-gay death camps is bad and we won't be doing that.
yeah,
You go fucking ape shit. Like, oh my God, finally somebody's speaking something that gives me hope for a better tomorrow. Even if, like, again, all of the basic issues outside of that is shit that, like, most people just, like, don't fucking understand or know about. They're
Yeah.
just not paying attention to this crap. They don't know what deregulation for housing even means.
it's so bad. Like the disinformation in America, depending on your age, is so bad that my therapist, who's he just turned 50.
Mm-hmm.
My therapist is he asked me about it. He's like, because he doesn't follow politics like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And he said, don't you think like Kamala and like Tim Walz are like left leaning? And I said, in like what, like social, like in social standards, like culture war stuff? And he's like, well, I meant just in general. And I said, I don't think either of them are in support of a union for any company. Like
It's like really basic
like
stuff.
one of them's a
maybe, but
union
not, like,
buster. Like one of them is a union. Like,
yeah,
Kamala has done active work against unions, whereas like
Excuse me, buddy.
Tim
Tim Walz
Walz,
is just kind of like he hasn't contested anything.
yeah, he's not
just
like contested unions. He's
Yeah.
contested a couple of labor laws related to gig working.
Yeah,
But like it neither of them are really all that like progressive at all outside of just social stuff, which again
Yeah.
is the main driver for this election, because most of it is just like the main Republican blunder seems to have been tacking Project 2025 to the wall as a, like, if you've been on Twitter and anytime anyone says anything about 2025 up until Kamala tagged in,
Yeah.
it was literally like every right-wing psycho shithead Republican would be like, count your days until
Yeah.
you get into fucking camp, degenerate. And it's
Yeah.
like every Republican said that. It's like 90 days until I deport you, you fucking, a slur here.
yeah,
And like if you watched for like a year plus those dudes doing that and like literally saying, this is how we're going to ruin your life forever, you
Right.
subhuman, and like another dude comes along and is like, we're not doing any of that.
yeah.
But yeah, you're obviously going to do
You're
it.
like,
It's the last
"Yeah."
year has been extremely scary if you're a
Yeah.
marginalized person.
You
Like,
put-
yeah, you want something that's not that.
You put your normal office worker companion in next to the worst person to ever exist. You're like,
Yeah.
hold on, this guy might. Oh, whoa, this
Oh
guy
wow, this
might be
guy's
cooking.
spitting.
This guy's
Kamala is brat, and
This
you're
guy's
like,
this guy's like, I want to ruin your entire life. I want to ruin you and your
it's
family.
why they backpedaled so hard from the 2025 shit when Kamala and Waltz tagged in
Yeah.
and started calling them freaks, rightfully so. Is like they're like, actually, wait, shit, we might lose, and they're now just like, oh, fuck, do we have anything for this?
But honestly, too, if I gotta hear another Charlie XCX song, no, I'm kidding. I love Charlie XCX.
She's good,
if I
but
gotta
like
hear
that
another
meme got ran
politician
so
say brat,
hard.
I haven't heard it at all.
You haven't heard
Nope.
Charlie XCX?
I protected myself.
You know one song by Charlie XCX.
Which one?
I'm so fancy. You already know I'm in the fast lane from London to Tokyo.
LA
Nope.
to Tokyo.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the
Nope.
lyric
Yeah,
there.
that's fair.
I thought it was either London or LA.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one. I
I'm So
insulated
Fancy
myself.
by Iggy Azalea.
Yeah, I haven't heard it. I have,
Yo, get that
I have
shit
insulated
off the
myself.
airwaves.
Get that shit off the airwaves.
I don't know what I did, but I saw
I like
the
Charlie XCX.
brat like gay memes or something like that, and all I did was send them all to Bus and then never think about them. I didn't even check what they were.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm giving him nightmares.
Nightmare.
Anything you want to say, Sheets, before we go? Oh, let me get that on video.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, his face
we
is
gotta get it for
twitching.
prosperity. Posterity. Oh god, I fuck up the word twice. Oh
All
fuck.
right, all right, Sheets. You got anything you want to say before we go?
A visionary, the greatest orator of all time.
I wish I was doing that.
Man, I wish I had those great opinions. Good job, Sheets.
Meow, 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 meow. Sheets is so funny.
He's the best fourth host.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Nobody else would do it with us.
Exactly. Exactly.
None of our real friends.
Real friends.
Like this cat.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna go get some nitrous.
Yeah. I gotta find my buff dentist who's friends with Milo Yiannopoulos real quick.